We are joined by Professor Rohan Gunaratne to discuss this more. Rohan, thank you very much for joining us. 590 Palestinians have been killed since the conflict started once again. Israel says it's going to discuss further terms to this ceasefire while conflict carries on. Do you see that happening? Do you see diplomatic efforts continuing with this conflict once again resuming?
Qatar, Egypt, and many other countries are working hard to restore the ceasefire. But Israel is determined that Hamas release the remaining hostages. If those hostages are not released, Israel will continue to mount operations. Israel's key intention is not only the release of the hostages, but to disarm and dismantle Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and the other groups that were responsible for the October 2023 massacre.
Professor Gunaratne, Hamas responded to these attacks on the Gaza Strip, which killed a reported 200 children. Hamas responded with 3 rockets, none of which got through. One was intercepted and the 2 others crashed in territory which didn't affect anyone. These attacks, are they necessary? These attacks that are killing at least 591 people, according to the Hamas-run health ministry, are they necessary?
The Israeli operations have become more intense. It is compared to the first phase of operations. It is because Israel is determined to strike at Hamas, but Hamas is using the human shield. It's using hospitals, schools, mosques, and other places of religious worship to hide and fight. So the civilian fatalities and casualties are a direct consequence of Hamas actions. If Hamas releases the hostages, Israel has no reason to mount these attacks. Hamas has to take the responsibility for the civilian deaths and injuries.
Okay, the United Nations and other international players have, some international players have kind of tiptoed around this because they don't want to kind of phrase that Israel is breaking international law. But some organizations are saying that they are in regards to this blockade on humanitarian aid coming in to Gaza. Why is Israel not taking these claims seriously? And what is the method behind this in blocking humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip that's preventing people from needing access to this essential aid, access to it?
Israel wants to maximize the pressure on Hamas from the Palestinian people, and that is why it cut off the water supply, the electricity supply, and the food. These are all tactics used by Israel to mount pressure on Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and the other groups that are holding the hostages, but also to send a clear message to Egypt and to Qatar and to other countries working with Hamas so that Hamas will release the hostages. But it appears that Hamas is unwilling to do that. And that is why Israel has stepped up operations. Of course, it has resulted in civilian deaths and injuries, and that itself is putting a lot of pressure on Israel to be more precise in its targeting of Hamas, PIJ, and other threat groups, and not to harm any civilians.
Professor Rohan Gunaratne, thank you very much for joining us.